What is going on, Summoners? We're back here today with another Champion Deep Dive. Today, we're talking about Adam Warlock. So, sit back and relax, cause it's time to get into it. Adam Warlock enters the contest with passive power, granting him 2.5% of a bar of power each second. However, his combat power rate is lowered by 25%. Adam's ability power rate cannot be lowered against non-mystic champions. And when Adam has his power stolen, he stops gaining power over time for 12 seconds. Also, each time his power is drained or burned, he gains a non-stacking Energize passive, increasing his combat power rate for 12 seconds. Now, activating a special 1 or 2 will start Adam's sovereignty counter for 2 seconds. And hits from any source will refresh this counter and increase it by 1. But if the first hit of Adam's special attack strikes the opponent's block, the counter starts and increases by 10 instead of 1. This also happens when Adam strikes the opponent's block with his second light attack. While the sovereignty counter is active, Adam gains buffs depending on the amount of hits in the counter. On his first hit, he gains an unblockable buff, and also inflicts an indefinite taunt debuff on the opponent while the sovereignty counter is active. At 10 hits, he gains a true damage buff. At 20, he gains a precision buff. At 30, he gains a fury buff. The sovereignty counter and all of these buffs are refreshed and paused during both champions' special attacks. But at 40 hits, he ends the counter and gains a stackable fury buff for 60 seconds. This maxes out at 2 stacks. The counter also will immediately end early if Adam activates the Parry Mastery stun effect while it's active. Now, all of his buffs are removed when the counter expires for any reason, except for his stackable fury. And the counter goes on cooldown for 10 seconds. When this is over, Adam inflicts an Intimidate debuff on the opponent for 4 seconds. This Intimidate is removed when he strikes the opponent's block. Additionally, when the counter expires, Adam gains a refreshable sovereignty buff that lasts for 30 seconds. This buff and his stackable fury buff are paused, while the sovereignty counter is active. While defending, Adam also gains this buff for 15 seconds when his opponent makes contact with him 20 times. Sovereignty buffs aren't affected by ability accuracy and cannot be nullified, staggered, or fate sealed by champions' abilities. This also applies to all of Adam's personal buffs, as they're replaced with a sovereign copy of themselves while this buff is active. Additionally, stun effects inflicted by the opponent's Parry Mastery suffer minus 100% ability accuracy. Now, once per fight while attacking, double tapping block causes Adam to enter his Stasis Pod for 2 seconds. While in his pod, Adam is locked into place, cannot use any attacks or be interrupted, and his sovereignty counter and personal buffs are refreshed and paused for its duration. Additionally, all incoming damage is reduced by 75%, and he instantly regenerates 74% of all incoming damage, unless he's suffering from a soul barb effect. However, if the opponent uses a special 3, he will immediately emerge from the pod without gaining its benefits. He also lowers the ability accuracy of physical and direct damaging debuffs and heal block effects by 100%. And while in the pod, he gains an energy protection buff, granting him immunity to all shock, incinerate, cold snap, and frostbite effects for the pod's duration. This buff lasts for 60 seconds when activating the pod by double tapping block. And when emerging from the Stasis Pod, Adam will be invulnerable for 0.25 seconds. While defending, he also activates the pod once per fight when he falls below 25% of his max health after a 2-second delay. Now, let's check out his special attacks. The Special 1. While Adam has a precision buff, the final hit inflicts a stun debuff for 1.25 seconds. With the Special 2, Adam enters his Stasis Pod for 2 seconds at the end of this attack. The pod can be triggered in this way multiple times throughout the fight, but his energy protection buff only lasts for the 2 seconds. The Special 3. At the end of this attack, Adam gains a non-stackable Fury buff for 60 seconds. Now, let's check out his signature ability. When awakened, upon entering his Stasis Pod, Adam gains a regeneration buff healing up to 10% of his missing health. Additionally, when the opponent strikes into the pod, they have up to a 100% chance to be stunned for 2 seconds. Neither of these effects activate when Adam is suffering from a Soul Barb effect. Now, let's take him out for a spin in the champion rotation. To begin, perform a combo into the opponent's block to trigger your sovereignty counter. Build to around 20 in the counter. Then bait a special attack if possible to keep their power low, and back off to gain your sovereignty buff. Hang back until your cooldown is over, then use your Intimidate debuff to trigger the counter again, and build to just under your Special 3. From here, it's time to launch your Special 2 and begin your assault. Punish the defender if they attack your Stasis Pod, and then stay ultra aggressive while chaining your Special 1s and building up the rest of your buffs. When necessary, you could double tap block to trigger your Stasis Pod manually and keep your combo string alive. Then continue this until you reach 40 in your counter to trigger your stackable Fury. If the opponent isn't already knocked out, once your sovereignty cooldown is over, strike into the opponent's block once more to start your cycle again, but this time with even bigger yellow numbers. Alternatively, if you're up against a smaller health pool, you could simply start your sovereignty counter and keep your combo string alive until the opponent is knocked out. Now, let's check out some of his notable synergies. Lab Rats. With Mr. Negative, Green Goblin, or Anti-Venom on the team, Adam Warlock and Mr. Negative have their Fury potency increased by 10%. With Green Goblin and Anti-Venom, their attack rating is increased by 10% during their Special 2. Infinity Avatars. With Vision and Thanos on the team, Adam Warlock and Thanos deal an additional 15% of their base attack rating on attacks that deal true damage. As for Vision, inflicting a power burn deals 35% of his base attack rating as a burst of energy damage. Galactic Disruption. With Silver Surfer on the team, when gaining 4 or more buffs, both Synergy members gain an Aptitude buff for 15 seconds, increasing the potency of their Precision, Fury, and Armor up buffs by 25%. Did you see a Synergy that struck you as divine? Thinking of a new Synergy team? Let us know your thoughts below, and let's discuss. Thank you for watching this Champion Deep Dive for Adam Warlock. And hey, if you liked the video and want to see more, click subscribe, like, comment, and share. And remember, we'll see you in the Battlerealm!